And David's a member of the Clarion Borough Planning Commission. He's been a member for 3 years, but he's had an interest in the restoring perhaps the Garby Theater in Clarion. A lot of people have different memories of that place. Some people can remember it when it had a stage and people would go there and see some productions. Of course, it was a large movie theater in the area, and some people remember it when they split it in half. And then still, other people remember it as a pool hall, and that recently closed. And I guess they had all sorts of stuff in there, including a dancing cage. But it has a lot of potential, and it is for sale now. And David had mentioned something the other day that he was still interested in perhaps doing something with the building. Like I mentioned, David's a member of the Planning Commission for Clarion Borough, and in his paying job, he's a logistics coordinator for Schlumberger. David, welcome to the show.
Mornings. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it very much.
So what do you have in mind? There's a lot of potential there. I understand the building is for sale. And what is left in the building?
Well, as you said, the building's gone through many transitions over the years. So the nice thing is there are a lot of the amenities are still in place. When you walk in, the original ticket booth is still in place. You can see the old ticket window there. When you go towards the back of the property, you can actually still see the original split screens in the back of the building. The office space is still intact, but aside from that, right now there's going to be a lot of work that would have to be done with it.
Well, how much does an old movie theater cost, even?
To get up and operating, or
just to buy it? So it's been empty there, and I know the realtor took you through for a tour the other day.
The asking price is about $85 right now, so it's not coming cheap, but. We have to look more in terms of the long-range plan of what that can do for the community.
Perhaps securing the building first, and then working on getting it in shape.
The first step would actually definitely be getting the title to the property, and then going in and doing a real thorough inspection. There is asbestos in the building, so we'd have to make sure that is taken care of. We want to make sure that all the electrical's up to snuff, all the plumbing is taken care of, and then once those are in place, then we can really start working on the configuration for transitioning it back to what it was originally, which was a theater. And the idea would be not just a theater for films, but as a community theater as well.
What types of movies would you expect to see in a theater like that? I doubt if you'd be seeing something like Hunger Games there.
No. The point of the Garby would be a completely different experience to the theaters you have here in the area. There are some great other venues if we want to see those mainstreams, but the Garby would focus more on independent films, films that you would not be able to get to see at the mainstream, or even go down to the Red Box. You couldn't get them there. Also, not just independent films, but foreign films as well. There's a lot of great foreign films that Americans do not get an opportunity to see, and I think the Garby would present a wonderful venue for them to go see them at.
Now, outside of bars in the area, there's really not a place for small groups or musicians starting out. Would this help in that area? That's
exactly right. The whole idea behind it would be the Garby would be a community theater, open for all members of the community. It would show films, it would show productions. You have local bands in the area that, they don't want to perhaps just be playing in a bar. They want to have something a little bit more, a different option for them, and that would be just that ticket for them as well.
I know the local high school and the area high schools have quite a bit of talent in them, and a few years ago they were going around different locations through town, even like out at the mall and where 5th and Main is, and doing open mic nights. Mm-hmm. Would this be ideal for something like that?
Absolutely. One of the things that the popular thought is, up until recently, it was always bigger's better, bigger's better. We're learning now that bigger isn't always better. The Garby doesn't need to have a huge venue. If it's more of a comfort and more of a close-knit community type environment, then you can go in and do that. we don't need 1,000 seats in that place. 200 to 250 seats would be plenty, and that's the perfect size for folks that are wanting to start out, getting that open mic going as well.
Okay, you've sold me. How does this come to be then? I mean, it's a great idea, and over the years, I know there have been various proposals, and different people have looked at it, sort of like Clarion's own Vietnam.
That's one way of saying it. Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot to it, in terms of the money and the organization and getting things together.
That's very true, Ron. This is not an overnight adventure. This is not a quick fix or quick sale and we're in business. This is a long term, and really to get this project started, the first thing we need is a core group of volunteers who have a vested interest in making this project a reality. What we'd be looking for. We already have. I'd like to thank Jennifer Vincent. She's actually already volunteered. She has a lot of background in theater, and she wants to help see this become a reality as well. We'd like to see some individuals have interest in the local businesses, bring them on. Again, as we've talked about, is the community theater would be there for them as well. It's all encompassing. We want to make sure we have somebody that is interested in families. We want to have somebody that has the college interest as well. But the whole goal would be to find the money, find the talent, find the labor to make this a reality. There's a lot of money that's going to be needed, a lot of work that needs to be done, but at the end, if this comes through, this will be something that will last a lifetime.
I posted a brief item on Facebook the other day saying that this was going to be the topic of my radio show, and I was surprised at the number of responses, especially people that grew up here, sending links to other towns who have done this with other theaters and kind of restored them, some on a grand scale, some on a more operational scale like you're talking about.
Yes, absolutely. This is not a unique idea. This is going on across America. Many small to mid-sized communities that had their own theater downtown at one time are returning back to those roots and restoring these theaters just for the same type of idea as what we want to do with the Garby.
So this wouldn't be a for-profit operation?
No, this would be completely just to break even. That's all it is. It's not an out there to make some money. The only way we can really make this a reality is to keep that operating 365 days a year with multiple options available. And again, it's not there to make a profit. Would be there as an entertainment venue for the community, for families, for college students, for the local bands, anybody that wanted to use it to get themselves going. That's exactly what it'd be for.
It would be open for theater groups. I know there's different community theater groups throughout Clarion County.
We are blessed with the Clarion Players, and I would love nothing more than to provide them with a permanent home. There's some wonderful talent there. I think that restoring the Garby Theater, and not just, as I said, not just for movies, but also for productions, that they can go in and have a permanent venue for them to show, and I think that would bring a little bit of pride to the community.
There's quite a bit of expertise available, I imagine, from the university theater program.
Yes, have talked to Dr. Powers from the university. He's given me his input on it as well. And as I said, this would not be a one-person project. This would be a community project that many different folks would have to help out on. I will admit right up front, my background is not in theater, so I don't have that expertise.
So why are you doing this?
That's a good question. Community really is. It's giving something to the folks of Clarion, giving them a downtown venue. You drive around to any of the other communities here in the region, Franklin, Oil City, Du Bois, Brookville is now doing as well. Every one of them has a downtown theater or downtown production venue for them. We don't have that now, and we really, really do need it. I think that with having the Garby, that opens up another whole niche in the marketplace, interest in the downtown. Imagine having a presentation done by the Clarion players on a Saturday evening, and we can promote with the local restaurants a dinner and a theater, or dinner and a show, or something like that.
Well, there's a tremendous amount of restaurants in the downtown Clarion area now, and you could take advantage of all that. I think downtown Clarion's rapidly evolving into a service or a specialty area.
Well, one of the nice things about Clarion is we have kind of gotten away from the big box, if you would, and it really gives Clarion the unique characteristic that it needs. We have the mom and pop stores, which are the backbone of the economy, and we want to spotlight those. And again, the Clarion Theater the Garby Theater would be nothing more than another option to promote them.
It's kind of ironic, I guess, that the old Orpheum Theater, the building that the Orpheum was located, is also for sale. The building's for sale. The business, I guess, there, Scrap Happy, is doing quite well, but the owner wants to sell the building.
They do want to sell the building, and it's funny you'd mentioned that. When I first started looking at it, the very first story that I'd heard was actually about the Orpheum, about Roy Rogers bringing Trigger in, and about Trigger kicking a hole in a screen or something to that effect.
That's way before my time.
Before mine as well. But
he may have kicked that may explain the hole in the wall.
Explain that one. But yes, you're right. Both the properties are for sale. Why I'm really focusing on the Garby is, one, is it's empty right now. Two, it's really in the heart of the downtown area. Three, I will say there's a lot of sentimental. As you said, we've posted on Facebook and we've talked about this. The number of responses and folks sharing their memories about going and seeing. Somebody said they saw Jaws there. Somebody else said they saw Superman there. Somebody said Hard Day's Night. And
that was at the Orpheum. I remember watching it there.
Okay. Well, the talk about these. These films from everybody's childhood and from growing up and their fond memories, but most of them talk about how much they remember the Garby. That was a real experience for them.
But people's experiences, maybe they remember the joy that they had or the good feelings they had with going there and that. But sometimes it really isn't related to the building. They'll use the Garby as the name, but it's more what they did there that they remember.
It's the venue, and that's exactly it. In today's society, we really have, you mentioned it before about folks can watch their films streaming video. They don't even have to leave their house now.
That's right. I was reading something the other day where they're all worried about the sales of DVDs, and Walmart's even talking about having a streaming service with if you have high-speed internet at home, you can stream it right there. And even Redbox and places like that, there's little kiosks that you can rent a movie for $1 or $2 a night, and it's so. In some ways, you'd have a lot of different competition, certainly, than the Garby and the Orpheum faced when they were in business. I do remember that periodically in the 60s that they would even have campaigns against free TV because it was going to ruin everything.
Well, and again, with these other options, folks are less inclined to go out for entertainment value. Why pay to go out when they can do it at home? But restoring the Garby gives them that opportunity to have that experience. Again, like you said, it's not the building. It's not, well, I want to see this film. It's that whole encompassing experience. The memories that are made with something like that. Hey, I remember going to see such and such a band when they first started out right here in Clarion. And that would be what, again, the stuff of what we can make for memories for our next generation.
Great. We'll take a break right now and rejoin Clarion Connection after the break.
These days, the concept of value matters more than ever. And you'd be hard-pressed to find a better value than high school sports. Extracurricular activities, including sports, make up about 2% of the budget for a typical Pennsylvania high school. In return, participation in sports promotes citizenship and sportsmanship. Sports also instill a sense of community pride and teach lifelong lessons about cooperation and self-discipline. They encourage physical fitness. They produce community leaders. By offering so many benefits to the community for such a small percentage of a school's overall budget, it's easy to see why high school sports are one of the best bargains around. The real cost would come from not having them at all. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Pennsylvania State Athletic Directors Association.
Hear the Lutheran Hour broadcast on Radio 13 Sunday mornings at 7:30 a.m. Presented by the Faith Lutheran Church, 1759 County Line Road in Venus. Sunday school at 8:30 a.m. Worship service at 9:30. Sunday school is held from September to May. You're always welcome at the Faith Lutheran Church in Venus. And the Grace Lutheran Church on Madison Street behind the courthouse in Clarion. The Grace Lutheran Church welcomes you. Sunday worship times are 8:30 and 11 a.m. Sunday school at 9:30 a.m. The Grace Lutheran Church, Madison Street behind the Clarion Courthouse.
Clarion Connection, I'm Ron Wilshire, and my guest today is Dave Erin Anthony, and we're talking about the possible rehabilitation of the Garby Theater in downtown Clarion.
Breathing some life into it, that's for sure.
Breathing new life. Well, so you're the doctor. How do you go about bringing new life to the Garby?
Well, we mentioned before the break about financing. And, again, bringing this venue to life is going to take a lot of capital. Keeping it operating is going to take capital. And one of the things that I've looked into and I found there is no great big pot of gold out there. We all know that it's not available. But what there are many small grants. There are many programs, both in the public and in the private sector, that can do it. We may only get $10,000 from this, or may only get $15,000 from that, but a concerted effort to find these different grants and bring them together would get us the money that we need to get it up and operating. As I had mentioned, I talked to Jennifer about this, some ideas. Again, making this community theater is reaching out to the local businesses, bringing them in. An idea that we're kicking around is having a wall, a wall of appreciation, and let's say a business donates X number of dollars, we'll put them on there. We'd like to recognize this local business, or we'd like to recognize this local organization that donated or helped us out by doing this. And to me, again, when somebody walks in, they see their business or their organization in there, it gives them a sense of pride in the community. And again, it's
that'd be neat to use like photographs, like old movie photos,
Mm-hmm.
and have the photos and then names underneath it.
Mm-hmm. And again, giving it that local feel. It's not, anybody that's been to in a large metropolitan area and gone to see a movie there, you walk in and they're cavernous, and they're sterile. And the best way I can explain it, we don't want that. We want a very cozy feel when you walk in there. The feel of, you see a photograph like, oh, I didn't realize that was here, or didn't realize that that's what that looked like originally. And giving a completely different experience to anything that is in the local area right now is what would be the focus of the Garby.
Well, if anyone's interested in helping out, who should they contact?
Well, if they're interested in joining on this, by all means, they can give me a call. I'm actually on Facebook, as many of you already know. It's okay if I can give my telephone number out. If anybody is actually interested, they are more than welcome to call me on my cell phone. Call me at area code 412-432-9695. Or they can reach me on Facebook, which I check pretty regularly, as Ron knows. I'm on there quite a lot, checking up on what's going on, trying to get some good input on this. It's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of resources to make this a reality, and I need folks that have that expertise. Somebody that has the expertise in carpentry, in design, theater design.
So you need various skills to help make this project a success.
Absolutely.
Well, is there any formal organization for this group?
No. This is still all preliminary. I want to make sure I'm stressing that. This is, there's nothing that's been signed on paper. There's no agreements that have been made at this time. So this is all, I got a chance to go in and take a look at it. Ron, you and I have talked about, this is a dream that I've had for the last couple of years of trying to make this a reality. And with the property coming available, it's really given us the opportunity, hey, let's take this, let's go at it. And with the postings we've seen on Facebook, folks are interested in making this a reality. So this is the opportunity for those folks that want to do it. Let's gather together. Let's see if we can find the money. Let's see if we can find the backbone, or the folks that want to get out there and really get dirty and make this a reality.
And you should probably think in terms of sooner rather than later, because it probably wouldn't be for sale for.
No,
and I understand there's some different alternatives already being considered that won't go into on the radio. But
I understand there's other groups that are interested in purchasing the property, and I, again, not discrediting them, not taking anything away from them, but I think the Garby keeps coming open for a reason, because call it what you will, but I think that the property wants to be a theater again. It just, you look at it and you go, that's a theater. You see the wooden shingles on it, and you look right through it and you can see the original marquee on it, which is still there, which would be great. And that we, take that down, put the original design of the facility back up the way it was.
So you're saying that the Garby might be haunted, and it's trying to come back to life. But it is, in a way, I guess you are stating that it wants to have another chance at life.
I think it. I think that it needs to have it. You just look at that property and you think about it. It's one of those properties that anybody that lived in Clarion, grew up in Clarion, they think about it. They go, oh, I remember this happening, or I remember going and doing this, and the Garby was showing. How many times you've heard somebody say, well, I was downtown then. Oh, I remember what film they were showing then. It's one of those things that, again, it's not just a venue; it's a memory maker.
And it's a shared experience. I think that's what's brings the popularity back. That a number of different people can
absolutely
relate to it.
And you talk about a number of different people. One of the things I would love to do with the Garby is really give a focus to family. As I mentioned, the idea is like during the summer, when the kids are out of school, during the day, doing matinees of old cartoons, old kids films, and do something silly like Buck Days. Go see a movie for $1. When the kids are out of school, they need a safe environment for them to go and enjoy themselves. There's a place to go and do it, and they can make their own memories that way.
Right. So, a lot of encouragement coming your way. Have you ever considered selling stock in it, like the Green Bay Packers did? I mean, the stock's essentially worthless, but you buy a share in it and you can post it that you have some ownership in it.
Well, again, we were talking about the wall of appreciation. One of the things that we can do to help provide funding for it is, once it's up and operating, go to theaters today, and what do they do in 10 minutes before the film starts? They're showing advertisements. We can go out and we can spotlight different organizations. It wouldn't just be for the local businesses; it would be organizations. Again, the idea is to promote the Clarion area.
We were talking a little bit before about technology, and you had mentioned in our interview before the show about a requirement that all projectionists in the future will be digital projections?
Yeah, there's a mandate, and again, forgive me, I can't remember the name of the organization. This is not a government mandate, so please don't get up in arms about that. with the healthcare going on right now.
Well, then who did it?
This is actually,
Nobody did it.
This is actually an industry mandated to switch over to digital by, I believe it's 2014 or 2013. I can't remember off the top of my head. And this is actually one of the problems that the Moonlight Drive-In Theater over in Brookville is running into right now. They have to upgrade, and they're struggling trying to make that happen right now.
And if anybody's visited the Moonlight, I'm shedding a tear right now.
Shared experiences.
Again,
it's amazing.
It is, it's another venue that you can take your family, you can go and share with your friends, and you walk away. It's not something you can get sitting on your couch, downloading the movie on streamlining.
But with the requirements for digital projections, that might be more of an advantage to a theater the size of the new Garby, where you could use that projection system to tap into any kind of resource.
Mm-hmm. The nice thing about these new types of systems are they're whatever type of connection you want to bring into it. Like we mentioned before the show, if you've got an old VCR tape, you can plug into it, a DVD, any type of connection would be available for it. So that gives us the flexibility with the types of shows we want to show. It gives us a little bit of availability.
And alternatives, especially in the specialty things like foreign films or even Christian films. There's quite a market for those, and you wouldn't have to have an enormous crowd there. But the more realistic aspect of this project might be just getting people involved and getting people using it often.
Absolutely. Again, as we try to wrap this up here, the point of the Garby Theater is a community theater. Something that somebody, when they visit Clarion, one of the first things they think of is they say, "Oh, Alf." But it's something else. They go, "You know what? I remember the Garby Theater." So, and that would be something for them to have.
And like many of the other institutions that have passed away in the area, like the Ross Memorial and the Ross Dances, and the movie theaters, I think, are an important factor. And it'd be nice to bring them along. I congratulate you on taking this cause up. Hopefully, it's not pointing your lance at the windmills, but I think it needs to be done, and I'm sure you're going to be getting support in the area.
I hope so. I hope we can get enough buzz generated about it that we can get some folks to come together on it.
Well, David, thanks for joining me on Clarion Connection. I'm Ron Wilshire. Have a good week.